In the history of the Roman Empire, few emperors have left as infamous a legacy as Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula. Born in 12 AD, Caligula became the third Roman emperor in 37 AD, following the death of his great-uncle and adoptive grandfather, Tiberius. Initially welcomed with enthusiasm by the Roman people and Senate, Caligula's reign quickly descended into chaos, earning him a reputation as one of the most tyrannical, extravagant, and unpredictable rulers in history. Caligula's rise to power. Caligula was born into the Julio-Claudian dynasty, the first ruling family. His father, Germanicus, was a beloved Roman general, while his mother, Agrippina the Elder, was a member of the imperial family. As a child, Caligula grew up among soldiers, earning the nickname Caligula, meaning little boot, because of the miniature soldier's boots he wore while accompanying his father on military missions. This nickname, given to him by the soldiers, would stick with him for the rest of his life. After the suspicious death of his father, when Caligula was still young, his family was plunged into a political struggle. Several of his family members, including his mother and two brothers, were either exiled or killed by Tiberius, who was known for his paranoia and cruelty. Despite these hardships, Caligula was spared, and he lived under Tiberius' watchful eye on him. When Tiberius died in 37 AD, Caligula ascended to the throne, much to the joy of the Romans. They had long hated Tiberius and saw Caligula as a fresh, young leader who could restore Rome's power. Initially, Caligula's reign seemed promising. He pardoned political prisoners, reduced taxes, and hosted lavish games, gladiatorial shows to win over the public. However, within just a few months of assuming power, something changed. Historians debate what caused Caligula's sudden shift from a popular leader to a mad tyrant. Some speculate that he suffered from a serious illness in the early months of his reign, which may have affected his mental state. Others believe that the absolute power of the imperial throne corrupted him. Whatever the reason, Caligula's behavior became increasingly erratic, and his actions grew more bizarre. Caligula began to indulge in excessive cruelty, extravagance, and megalomania. He would squander vast sums of money on personal pleasures, expensive projects, and lavish games. He also embraced a level of cruelty that shocked even his contemporaries. He is said to have enjoyed watching executions and forced his political rivals to endure torture or public humiliation. One of Caligula's most notorious acts was his declaration that he was a living god. While it was common for Roman emperors to be deified after their death, Caligula went a step further by demanding divine honors while still alive. He had statues of himself erected in temples, and even ordered a statue of himself to be placed in the Temple of Jerusalem, which caused outrage among the Jewish population. He also declared that his beloved horse, Incitatus, would be made a consul, the highest office in the Roman Republic. While it is unclear whether Caligula actually followed through with this bizarre decision, the mere suggestion illustrates the extent of his delusions. The madness of Caligula's rule. Caligula's reign was marked by episodes of extreme cruelty and violence. One of his most infamous acts was a banquet in which he ordered his guards to throw several spectators into the arena to be devoured by wild animals, simply because he was bored. He also enjoyed making a public spectacle of his cruelty, often forcing individuals to commit suicide or participate in humiliating acts for his own pleasure. Caligula's treatment of the Senate was especially humiliating. He took great pleasure in belittling the senators, treating them as his personal slaves, and often forced them to engage in demeaning tasks or watch as he publicly humiliated them. His relationship with the Senate deteriorated to the point where he became openly hostile toward them, stripping them of power and making decisions unilaterally. He even turned the Senate chamber into his personal playground, hosting lavish parties and using it as a venue for mock trials and punishments. The emperor's financial irresponsibility also wreaked havoc on the Roman economy. When Caligula assumed power, the treasury was full, thanks to the frugal policies of Tiberius. But within a short time, Caligula drained the empire's finances by spending vast amounts of money on luxuries, elaborate building projects, and massive public games. He even ordered the construction of a 2-mile-long floating bridge in the Bay of Fire, so he could ride his horse across the water, simply to prove a prophecy wrong. As his paranoia grew, Caligula began to see plots and conspiracies everywhere. He executed or exiled anyone he suspected of disloyalty, including members of his own family. His cruelty knew no bounds, and he frequently punished those around him in horrific ways. At one point, Caligula is said to have remarked, "I wish the Roman people had but one neck, so I could cut it off with a single blow." Through his excessive cruelty, extravagant behavior, and delusions of grandeur, Caligula stands as a reminder of the potential dangers of unchecked power and the thin line between genius and madness. Even today, nearly 2,000 years after his death, his reign remains a symbol of the excesses and dangers of autocratic